video, I had immediate questions as to procedure, amount of officers, questions that were asked, reason for the investigation in the first place. And so several questions stood out to myself and other members of the NAACP that were able to view the video.
What was it about the video that stood out to you that made you want to continue to investigate?
Right. Well, first off, the initial call that came in, we were able to hear that first. And the information,
I'm still standing here.
the information that was given by the citizen to the dispatcher was pretty good information, of course. But I think where the problem came in at was when the information from the dispatcher was relayed to the police officers. Because instantly, once we heard the audio call and then heard what the police officer said, it was contradictory. The citizen said that Mr. Williams was in an area behind their backyard in the green belt, if you will. And most people probably are not familiar with the green belt area, but undisturbed by development and the nature area. And this particular green belt area has trails in it after investigating the area. But the contradiction between what the caller said to dispatch and what the officer said to Mr. Williams, just a lot of misinformation at that point. And again, the number of officers that it took. If initially 2 officers on the scene, next thing you know, there are 2 other officers and they're surrounding Mr. Williams. And it just does not look good just at a glance.
So, I know that you guys met up last week and talked a little bit, obviously. One thing I want to know is, you weren't satisfied with that conversation. You weren't satisfied with the end of it. But today, I'm sure you saw the press release from Tyler Police Department, so it seems like they are moving forward.
Yeah, of course.
Talk to me about what you're hoping comes out of tonight and what you want Tyler to do. What do you want them to do to change this isn't happening again?
Well, again, as I think about the call that came in, and all across the country, the NAACP, this is one of our main focuses, is police relationships with communities and the strain between communities of color and the recent events that have transpired over America over the last few years, unarmed black men being shot and killed. And of course, when I think about that call and the information and how it was relayed to officers, and I think about 12-year-old Tamir Rice that was in the park, and the call that came in and said that there was a man in the park with a gun. Police rolled up 2 seconds later, shoot and kill a 12-year-old child. Alton Sterling, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a caller called about this young man. Next thing you know, he's dead.
Do you think this problem in Tyler, this Ricky Williams incident, is on the same scale as some of those other incidents? It's the same kind of problem that's been spreading through the
Well,
US.
every problem has a direct foundation. It starts somewhere. What is the basis of the problem? And that's where we want to focus at, because we want to prevent this. And we've been meeting with police, law enforcement here in Smith County. We've had countless sessions of talking about the problems. But again, we've done everything we can to prevent it. But this indicator here is that we're not at the level that we need to be, and that there are potential areas that we need to really concentrate on, and that is information.
Give me some hard, bullet points, if you will, of what you want Tyler to do, TPD.
Yeah. Well, we want to make sure we hold our officers accountable for their actions, for the words that they use, how they approach citizens. Because again, our constitutional rights are very important for us to always keep in mind. And life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is an inalienable right that we all have that cannot be given and cannot be taken. And so we have to make sure that our police officers understand that that pertains to everybody and not just some people. And in this situation, it seems as though because Mr. Williams was in a certain part of town, granted the terms that were used, police officers were not careful about how they went about investigating this situation, and it could have potentially turned into something on a whole nother level. And we're thankful that Mr. Williams stayed calm as he did, and that the situation didn't escalate. But we know that there is just, the precipitation for a potential problem is something that's looming, and we do not want to be found not doing everything that we can to prevent that here in the city of Tyler. And so addressing the procedure, the policy, making sure we're clear. Again, we left out of the meeting on last Friday with more questions than answers. We spent 2 hours trying to convince those that were there, black. We were convincing those that were white why we were offended. And I saw that divide in that room. And those that were white were trying to understand, why are you so offended? And I believe even in this broadcast and even in tonight, people are going to ask those same questions. Why are they so offended? But you know what? You have to be empathetic to understand the dynamics here in America, how tough and how much of a strain there is on race relations, and it starts with each one of us. How we treat each other, how we look at how we deal with each other, and being responsible citizens.
I'm just going to stand right there. I'm going to get a two shot of you and I don't have